hello. You know, I'm gonna have no comment on that one. Just interesting times in the Shrambles abode. But we've got some Christmas-themed Myscorey action. Classic game, classic Christmasing. If I classic.
Hello. There we go. So when you... That's weird. Say something. I want to know how loud you are.
Well, if we're breaking down to the classic Christmas stories of all time, Hyper Princess Pitch is probably near the top. Can't go wrong with wanting to be mad at Santa.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know how clear the lore really is, but there's some for sure.
There's enough lore to go around.
For sure. Definitely. So, wow. Just happened to already have this cropped perfectly.
So this is like the classic debate of like, you know, is because I'm gonna drop right into it before we start. The classic debate.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yes. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? But let's stay away from movies and talk about games then. So Hyper Princess Pitch, clearly a Christmas game.
Yes, I will say in my search for what could potentially be a good game this time, I looked at just things that were generally winter related. I thought that would be good enough. But, you know.
Yeah, I would disagree, but just because there's snow, like Mario has snow levels, doesn't necessarily mean it's a Christmas game.
I see what's going on here. Say some more things. I'm trying to get audio level. I have to. This is a throwback stream. If you can tell, this is the old waiting because we don't have a thing for our new layout yet. So this is old layout stream.
There's no racer cards for Myscorey.
No. No, there isn't.
We see all of them at once. Like, so if if Mystery Tournament is Yu-Gi-Oh, what is Myscorey? Like, what is the equivalent? Like, is this Crazy Bones? Is everybody gonna get their own Crazy Bone?
I have no idea what Crazy Bones is.
You don't know what Crazy Bones are?
I've never heard of Crazy Bones. Tell me about Card Fighter, Vanguard. No, tell me about Crazy Bones. Is it like Garbage Pail Kids?
So like they were like little plastic figures. Like,
oh wait, maybe I do. Let me look up Crazy Bones. Okay.
Yeah, and so like they would either come like you could get solid colored ones, they'd somehow have to be clear. Like it was essentially Pokemon cards but for like tiny like plastic figurines.
Oh yeah, okay. Did you flick them at each other?
Yeah, so like the whole game was basically like you'd line up 6 of them and then your opponent would have 6 of them lined up, and then you would flick your Crazy Bone, and if you knocked down the Crazy Bone on the other side, they'd be out.
It doesn't seem like which Crazy Bone you have would make a huge difference there.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
Interesting.
It's just like, because you can have different shapes. Everyone always like the classic, like the iconic one, like, you know, Pikachu has, you know, Pokemon has Pikachu. I think it's Egbert. So it was just like literally just an egg with feet.
Well, there's Speedy Egbert, who was like he was the protagonist of a bunch of cheap PC like freeware games. And he was also an egg with feet. And his name was also Egbert.
Egg with feet is a very easy, classic design character. You could probably point to many games, many shows that have eggs with feet.
I don't know if that's true. Humpty Dumpty often is an egg with feet, but to be clear, no one ever says he's an egg.
I mean, that is true.
Humpty Dumpty is a man who fell off a cliff and died and fell apart. But people are just like, oh, it's an egg that's nicer.
It's the better image, so we can share this with kids.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, anyway, so that's Crazy Bones.
I know. We'll be able to have somewhat more relevant commentary when the actual thing starts. I
mean, this is the pre-show.
Are you talking Dizzy? DPC?
Oh, Dizzy, yeah.
Everybody hates Dizzy.
Dizzy's like that weird mix of like a platformer, but also like in a point-and-click game at the same time.
Which I like. I like that. I wish there were more games like that. But the actual playing Dizzy sucks. So people just should do it better.
Yeah, we need more Dizzy likes.
Yes. Perfect. Have you played this game before, Shrambles?
I was actually going to try to play it this morning, but then no comment.
Got it. But you've seen it.
Yes, I have seen it. I think I watched... There was either an SGDQ or an AGDQ where they did like the speed run of it. So I have watched that.
There's also that crazy task that you can see floating around every once in a while.
I think that actually may have been it. I think it was like TaskBot did this game.
Yeah, so there's kind of a joke difficulty mode. Where like it's not really meant to be beatable, but they were able to task it. And that's where that comes from.
All right, so it may have been both the GDQX and the AGDQ run that I watched. But like this is it looks like a very fun game.
It is a fun game. I'm just getting it so we actually have 3 people on screen. Then I think.
Yeah, because like
we can swap over. Ooh, 59.
Like, oh, that's a minute. We're starting in a minute.
Oh no. If you're watching the Discord thing, it broke.
I did. Oh no.
Alright, I'll fix it.
Like, so this is made by someone who's also a part of the Ludosity team.
Yes, I think that it's like, I think that it's like this was before it was Ludosity. Because all these characters like show up in Hard City Nights and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have as much detail. Somebody actually posted a different Christmas game from this guy, but it was like a Flash game. But all right. Well, it is time. So I'm going to start my timer.
Gonna release the racers.
I'm gonna try. There we go. Start my timer, then I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna say, big pointer, go.
And the points are off.
The points are off. And let me turn this music.
So this is a game with a Mecha Santa.
It is.
So not to be confused with the Mecha Santa from Futurama. but
So, nice. So the paste bin has been posted, which is good. So basically, for Myscorey, because it's been a while, just as a base thing, they have 2 hours to get the highest score possible. In this one, and we tend to, I tend to make the paste bins like quite long. I want them to know everything that is reasonable to know about the game in order to maximize your score. So, in this instance, I included quite a bit of information. There is a secret level, which I did not include how to get to in the paste bin. But
are they aware of there being a secret level?
No.
Oh, okay.
But there are pro tips that unlock on the main screen when you beat certain difficulty levels. And one of them is the secret level, so I figured they can find that themselves. But I told them pretty much all the controls. There's an advanced counter stance technique that lets you do some interesting score stuff and kill enemies, and where you pick them up and pile drive them. But it's like it's like almost like a fighting game thing to do it. You have to press 4 directions in a row. I don't know how often we'll see it, especially this early on. But, basically, the interesting thing about this Myscorey is that they can pick any difficulty level they want to play. And the difficulty levels multiply the score. And it says so on the screen. It says this will do your score times 8. This will do your score times 5. And you get fewer lives and it's harder on higher difficulties. But it's relevant to how high of a score people can get. So, what I would say you should do is that you should beat the game on an early difficulty so you get a handle on things and just get a score on the board, and then kind of move on to the harder difficulties and try and put that up. But I mean, you know, I didn't actually play this long. I'd seen it plenty of times, but I'd never played it before. Okay. I think we've got actual audio from Mr. Zimbu.
Yeah, and just looking at the gameplay, I'm noticing a lot of different, like, you know, weapon changes. So, like, at one point, I think I saw it was someone who had, like, a flamethrower, and then Neitzel, I think, had, like, an ice blower. And it looks like we have rapid shot on Mr. Zimbu right now. And it looks like temporary.
So there are 3 weapons, which you always have, but 2 of them have limited ammo. There are bricks, which are like a little machine gun, and it fires little red bricks. And then there are, there's the ice, which is like a flamethrower, but it's an ice thrower because it's Christmas time.
Yeah.
And then there is the rainbow shot, which has a slow rate of fire, but does higher damage and bounces off walls. You can pick up ammo for those, but you can also pick up letters, which give you temporary, like...
So yeah, like a little temporary power-up.
Yeah, a temporary power-up. So let me pull up the thing, so we have all...
So yeah, it looks like Zimbu currently has like a temporary speed power-up.
Yes, so there is. And I included all the power-ups in the basement. Well, first of all, there's apple, orange, grape, strawberries. Those all give you points in that order. Strawberries give you 8 times what an apple does. So, I don't know, you can maybe safely ignore the apples, I guess, if you really wanted to. Then you can get hearts to refill your health. You can get ice and rainbow, which are just ammo for your sub-weapons. There's a cat with flames coming out of its butt, and it kind of like carpet bombs everything. So that's a nice one to get. It doesn't do the whole screen, but it does a nice little line across the screen based on where you pick it up. There's like a rainbow circle, which does like a little explosion emanating from where you pick it up, and it's pretty strong. And then there's all the letters. So there's T, which someone just got, which is a triple shot. I don't think they last into the next room, unfortunately, is a thing. But then there's P, which just makes your weapon stronger for a little while. There's C, which gives you the little cats that rotate around you. That it's like a little option, like a shmup option.
Mm-hmm.
There's S, which is speed. It just makes you move faster. There's H, which is rare, and it gives you like a super strong golden brick weapon.
Oh, that's the hyper princess pet.
Yes, exactly. And that makes it so it's like they like explode and stuff. It's pretty strong, but it's rare to pick it up. And then there's X, Y, and Z, which are like super rare. It said on the page 1 in 400 chance.
Oh, it's Catalite. That C is Catalite.
Oh, like satellite. Perfect.
Yeah.
And so, and then that gives you apparently some sort of super weapon. I never saw it. I haven't seen it, but I mean, we can see it happen. I don't know. That's what's nice about the Myscorey format is because it's so long, we don't really, it's not a huge deal when it comes to like power-ups and stuff. It'll all balance itself out.
Someone just finishing up the second stage.
I believe someone is playing on an easier difficulty than both the other people on screen right now.
Okay. So someone's just trying to get a feel of the game.
Which I think is smart.
Yeah, it looks like that because someone's score is definitely a lot smaller than Zimbu's. I think Neitzel game overed?
Yes. And so now we have the first score on the board. It took the time to type in the whole name. Crazy. Neitzel is showing off.
Neitzel just wants to assert their dominance.
Yeah,
it's
seriously.
Like, this is my name. I need to let people know if I were to drop dead at this moment, they would see that I have the top score.
Speaking of dropping dead off at this moment.
Zimbu also taking it down.
Oh, that's not even what I was talking about, but that's perfect. Oh man, I don't remember.
What were you talking about?
I'm gonna take Neitzel off because I wanted to put someone else on, but I don't know who is live, so we'll just figure it out. Everyone competing should be live, but sometimes I forget what people's Twitches are.
And some people, you know, they'll just get their name on the board and they won't start right away because, like, that's the fun of the Myscorey events. Like, you aren't committed for the whole 2 hours. Like, if you get a brilliant score within the first 20 minutes, you don't have to keep playing.
That's true.
You can ride your laurels all the way to the end.
In order to kind of have a little bit more fun this time around, sometimes I'll do a really obscure game, and I won't be so concerned with how fun it is. I mean, it'll be fun, I think, for score, but, like... Okay,
yeah,
so...
How else are we gonna get... Come on, boy.
Yeah, come on, boy. So Rickery's just not even... Well, I'll put someone else up, because we can't see his score, because he's not showing the whole screen. So...
He has a score of 78.
Oh, it's 27 underscore. Got it. I'll check out that one guy. Yeah, Rickery's geez, he needs to pick it up.
Yeah, Ricker keeps killing this one guy, but just not getting any points off of him. It's tragic, really.
Yeah. Speaking of that one guy, here he is.
And so other things, like, maybe I wasn't aware of, like, so there's a little thing underneath. Is that, like, actual, like, top score placement? Where it says, like, 3rd, 7th, 6th, like, under the scores.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay. It's what I assumed. I didn't know, like, maybe there was some other, like, secret thing with it.
No. So here are the secret things, that some of which they know, some of which they don't. There are sometimes X's on the ground, and if you pile drive somebody into an X, you get a power-up from it. So, that is an important thing. I didn't put that in the paste bin, but I did say you should read the pro tips, and that's in the pro tips, in the game. The game tells you that. But I did say how to enter the counter stance in the paste bin. Which is basically you enter this, like, counter stance, and then when someone walks up to you, you grab them and you throw them into the ground.
And if like, you can pile drive the bosses, if I'm not mistaken.
Sometimes you can. So here, someone is on this level. If you pile drive this laser, if you counter this giant laser that comes out at you, that's how you reach the secret level. And it's just an extra level where you can get more points. So you should want to go to the secret level, but I didn't think it'd be fair to tell him everything. Especially when beating it on certain difficulties will just tell you that.
Yeah, and there's a fun little discovery moment. It's like, oh,
exactly.
This is where...
So my blind time on... it was like the middle difficulty was like 15 minutes, 16 minutes. So the game isn't very long. I didn't know about the secret level, and I didn't do it. But if you look at... Some people did a blind race of one of the much harder difficulties last year, and it was like 2 hours. So building up to it is a good idea. But at the same time, to get a good score, you don't necessarily have to finish the difficulty.
Yeah, you just
especially
need to,
when
like...
there's a multiplier. Oh, one thing I haven't mentioned is there's a split. In each stage, there's one split path. But it's the same number of rooms always, and you always reconvene at the same spot, but you fight a different mini-boss based on which direction you go. So, I don't know. They can find a preference in the stages. It doesn't make a huge difference, though.
Yeah, because there's not really a multiplier bonus for not taking damage.
Oh, there is. There is. I forgot.
Okay,
there's another thing I didn't say. There's at the end of each level.
Yeah.
At the end of each level, you literally get a bonus for each room you didn't take damage in. So you have to not have taken any damage in the room for it to matter.
So there is a optimization where it's like finding the rooms that you can do where you don't take damage. So if you can figure out those strats, then it's like, well, you'll get bonuses at the end for that.
If you see that one guy's screen, see the little X on the left?
Yeah, so that one guy needs to pile drive someone, yeah.
I haven't seen anyone actually do it yet, and it's kind of difficult to pull off. I mean, we may not even really see it at all. I did include how to do it.
Yeah, that's the counter stance.
Yeah. I was a little ambiguous about what exactly you do with it, especially when the pro tip that's there by default tells you about going into pile driving people into X's. Like before you even beat anything.
Awesome. Extra life. Let's go. Ice rainbow.
But yeah, we've got...
Zimbu just did it.
Oh, nice. I think the sooner you start doing it, the better, I would say. Mr. Zimbu's on the board, as well as Neatcell and Maxale 540, who is, I believe, new to Myscorey and the community in general. But this is a really fun thing to jump in. If you're seeing this and feel like... First of all, especially for this game, we're not requiring that all the players are totally blind to this. You know, you have 2 hours to try and get a high score. If you played this once when you were 15, which is the experience a lot of people have had with this game, it's fine. Or if you just, like, tried to get through it once, it's fine. Playing it for score is a little different. But, if you are watching this and feel like you want to compete, you can, because we're not, like, it is this 2-hour window you have to get the score in, but if you only play half of it, or if you only play the back half, that's totally fine.
Yeah, and I believe someone is on the final boss on their difficulty.
Yes. Actually, when I did my blind playthrough, I didn't finish. I died when this guy had like an 1/8 of his life bar left. But I looked up a playthrough, and there's nothing after this, so I just kind of wasn't doing it. But I was on a slightly harder difficulty. And you notice someone still has 5 lives.
Yeah.
So you get an extra life in between the stages, but you also start with more on easier difficulty.
Which someone is definitely probably going to up their difficulty. They may even up it to, like, 2 levels, just to see. Because they got through this game, they got through whatever difficulty they picked pretty quick.
Absolutely. And so when Santa throws that giant rainbow orb, you can probably counter it. But you got to be on it. It's a 4-direction sequence. This game doesn't natively support my controller, or at least it didn't for me. So if you want to do controller, you got to do joy to key, which I did. But some people are just more comfortable on keyboard.
They'd be wrong, but whatever.
Yeah, in my opinion, I don't get it personally, but it's because I grew up, with an NES and not with a, Commodore 64 or whatever.
Someone does finish the game. Duns at a time of 16.
Yeah, 1611.
Not quite this time, but yeah, if I remember, it was just like Princess Peach didn't get her gift, or she did not. Something along those lines. Like she didn't get her gift.
We should look that up.
So she's like going to Santa, and it's like, "Where's my gift?"
That's a good point, that the direction combination is probably much easier to do on a keyboard.
But there is someone's score, a 369,000 score.
Yeah, so finishing the game is valuable, even if it is on a lower multiplier. Also, this game has pretty good music. I would say the sound effects can be a little grating sometimes because of how often Princess Peach is speaking. But, it helps you know what's going on, I suppose, when the game is this crazy.
Someone punches in their scores. Got all the fun pro tips. So got some new pro tips.
Oh, turns intro off in options. That's smart. I didn't even
see, that's some time-saving techniques.
You should check the pro tips though.
I think someone already had them up, so like,
okay,
yep. And then I think it looks like someone started on Battle Princess, is now going all the way to the second highest difficulty.
Oh really?
Highest available difficulty for them at this moment, because I think you need to unlock the most difficult difficulty. Yeah, but that you only get one life at this level, so this is gonna be interesting.
Okay, so this is somewhat of a sequel to Garden Gnome Carnage, which is the other Christmas game by this guy, which is like an old Flash game. Again, the lore seems pretty ambiguous. But this is the same person who makes Princess Remedy, which we recently had in Mystery Tournament, that I know people like, and I still need to play myself.
Remedy's a good game.
I started it before a match, but then a match came up and I couldn't finish it. And then I ended up having Remedy 2 in my Steam. I don't know why it's there, but I'm happy about it because I will play it.
I think it was posted on the Discord at one point when it was free.
Oh, okay, that's probably...
Because that's how I got it for free, and I played through that. It's essentially the same game, with just like some minor differences.
I assume slightly longer. Maybe not.
It's about the same length.
Oh, really?
Maybe a little longer. Honestly, I couldn't tell. It just felt like the same game.
Still, it was fun the amount that I played, so I'd be down. So, part of something you could do, and that one guy is somewhat doing it with the health at least, is that you can kind of strategically keep the power-ups on the ground until you, like, really need them. Especially stuff like triple shot or whatever, you want to wait till more enemies spawn into the room to make that more useful. Or like someone just picked up the like carpet bomb thing, but there was no one standing there. So there is quite a bit of strategy about when you pick up... Oh yeah, the ice flamethrower kills small projectile.
Oh, that's Oh, but it doesn't really do that much damage. Okay.
It does more than bricks, but it's really short range. It doesn't do a lot more. I don't think I ended up including the numbers, but there are some numbers on the site. There's like an official guide on his site. Bricks were 20 FPS, and Rainbow and Ice were 24 FPS. I mean DPS, excuse me.
Okay, and that one guy on the final boss.
Oh yeah. And it's kind of bouncing stuff behind Santa. That's kind of neat. I don't know what difficulty he's on, though.
I feel like not... Probably maybe the same difficulty someone was previously on.
Yeah, starting easy.
I'm just assuming that based off of the life count.
So here's... Okay, prediction. I'm going to do a prediction.
Ooh, hot prediction.
How do you do it? Is it exclamation mark prediction, or is it like...
Slash
prediction.
I think it auto-completes if you put the slash. On that one guy finishing... I'm gonna see what kind of score that one guy ends up with. Yeah, still a bunch of people who haven't submitted a time yet, so this will be interesting to see if they actually started on harder difficulties. Or maybe they just got a score that they just weren't happy with.
Yeah, I mean, I think technically that would be, I don't know, maybe not against the rules, but I do think that would be a not very good idea to just not put a score up. But, you know, it's up to you. I'm going to make this a long prediction. This is a 10-minute prediction because we got plenty of time.
Yeah, so there's the counter pile driver pro tip. The secret level true ending pro tip. So that's even there too. So like, yeah, it's the second pro tip. Oh, that one guy didn't even read your paste spin. The disrespect. Oh, is that what the prediction is?
Yeah. So, the prediction is, what prize will the winner pick? Will they pick my PSX copy of Gubble, or will they pick a $20 Steam game? I am not letting them pick both. They will pick one or the other, and they will be happy with it.
They will pick the digital copy of Gubble.
That is an option, because Gubble is on Steam, and it is less than $20. It is in fact 10.
So that's 2 copies of Gubble. The choice is obvious.
That's true. If they, I don't think I can even do that. I don't think I could give. I could give it to a friend. If that friend friended me on Steam, also, I could give it both to them and a friend, so they could have a little Gubble party together. Also, the pile driver can clear out big groups like this because when you land, you get a little explosion. It's an advanced technique, but I think it is useful. And it can preserve some health, because I think you have, like, iframes while you're in the air. Oh shoot, I missed which difficulty that one guy selected. But he's back in the game.
They have 1 life, so they picked the same difficulty that someone picked.
Okay. That is the hardest available one.
Correct. Yeah, they probably... Because I think they played on the difficulty one easier than the one someone picked before. I don't know what the difficulty names are, so I apologize for the very vague statements.
They're not easy to know. They're...
Yeah, it's... they're not easy, normal, hard. They have their fun... They have their fun flavor text names.
This
like
is
Doom
the
has
room...
their own flavor text names.
This outside room is the one that I didn't pick.
I got a present for you, all right?
Okay, Mr. Zimbu on the final boss. 0 lives though, and this guy's no pushover. Yeah, so you unlock the pro tips. I'm glad that you do it that way. I didn't check, but I assumed that since this guy doesn't suck at making games and is still making good games to this day, that you would unlock easier pro tips from beating it on a harder difficulty. Like all the ones up to that point you would unlock. Which is good.
That one guy, though, taking a game over.
And someone also taking a game over.
The classic name XXYYY.
Okay, that one guy went back to War Queen, went one earlier, where you start with 2 lives. It's more than just the lives. The levels actually do end up harder.
Someone lamowing. Going. Will they pick Goddess of Explosions?
Yes!
They're going back. They're going back.
He's already in the lead. Oh, Neatcell come up to 338, and Muware on 308. Once Mr. Zimbu finishes the boss, I'll swap them out for somebody who's up high on the leaderboard.
Yeah, my guess is that most people are now doing that War Queen difficulty, which was the second most difficult option.
For some reason, that's what I would pick too. It's like a psychological thing. I don't really understand why you'd say, well, I can't do the most difficult one. But I would just say that in my head, and I wouldn't even try. Someone is brave, and also usually a winner, so we could see some big things.
Yeah, I think it's just the limited lives option here is what really makes it dangerous. But like if I remember seeing someone score, ooh, and I think Zimbu takes the game over.
Awesome.
But still, like a decent score.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We'll swap them out for Neats, or I'll swap them out for Muware, see where they're at.
Let's go.
Oh, what room? Is this the secret room? What room is this that someone's on?
I don't know.
This is like the stats room.
Yeah.
Oh, someone is getting the lore, figuring out which enemies are worth the most points. I don't know how helpful this is, but like...
We're still on the main screen. We'll see if they come back into the game soon. Okay, is learning about the... Oh, Super Pro Tip 1. Nice. I like this. They have time.
Yeah, I mean,
we're
you've
only
got
a quarter of the way into this right now.
You've got an hour and a half. Like, learn some of these pro tips. Learn more about the lore. Understand what point values matter.
Yeah, that one guy did a pretty good job for not having read the pace bin, because there's a lot of information in there. I just noticed.
Oh, okay, so there's a damage per second meter thing here.
So the secret stage comes after stage 3, and is when you counter the big boss's laser. And someone knows this, has read it. I'd love to see somebody do it. And because I haven't even seen the stage. I just know it exists, and I'm pretty sure it's good points. I mean, if you can go do an extra stage while you play through the game, that's going to be a good point.
Yeah, it's just more opportunity to get more points. Don't know how difficult the secret level will be, but...
So something that the final difficulty mentions that the other ones don't is that the bosses do final attacks.
Oh, they have a desperation attack.
Apparently. Oh, yep, here we go.
The good make us better.
Someone is dealing with it right now.
Let's go.
Ah, okay, got it.
Oh, the physics of bouncing off.
Yeah. Which one did Mooware pick? Jeez, I keep getting distracted.
Oh, I 3 lives, so I'm gonna assume War Queen.
I forgot that I had these.
Like, my guess is that, like, you get, like, the easiest one gives you, like, 9, and I'm assuming it's, like, a 9, 7, 5, 3, 1 situation.
I think it actually just goes one... It goes 1 each, but the easiest one does give a lot. It's not 9. I think the most you can have is 5, actually.
Then maybe 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That would make sense. And the point values that I put for the fruit in the paste bin are the base values. Those are also affected by the multiplier. Everything would be affected by the multiplier. Because someone picked up a strawberry, it's a 200-point fruit. It was a 1,600-point fruit because he's on 8 times hardest difficult.
Oh, even just ignoring that strawberry. Disagree.
Yeah, I'd say get the strawberries. But he did have the gold brick, which only lasts for so long, so he wanted to take advantage of it. He's playing fast and loose. But you can see already at half the score and barely on stage 2. So the multiplier does make a big difference.
Yeah, but also on their last life.
Yeah, that one guy is...
Oh, one guy's killing it right now on the boss.
Yeah, and is on the one earlier difficulty, but times 7 versus times 8, not a massive difference, you know, percentage-wise.
Both taking a death.
At the 4th place high score, that is probably not going to do it unless the other 3 are not worth putting on the board. Yeah, that one guy was doing pile drivers. I haven't seen anyone counter the laser yet because they went to the harder difficulties and now they're not even getting there.
Yeah, a few people have done the pile driver. No one's pile drivered any of like the boss's attacks though. They've only pile drivered like basic enemies.
I think someone has the right strategy for this guy, which is using the ice flamethrower because it does destroy the things. You can see how much harder of a time Mooware's having.
And it also is, as we saw on someone's screen, it also has a higher DPS. Only by 4, but like...
Yeah, makes a difference. Nice. And no desperation attack on this difficulty.
Awesome.
Oh.
Extra life.
Oh, 3 no damage rooms. That's pretty good.
Ice. Rainbow.
Yeah, the no damage bonuses are not slight. So that one guy could do an well, he didn't do it. But I was going to say he could do an interesting, which is wait for the gold brick, wait for the next room to open up before he takes the gold brick. Just so he had it in a room that wasn't the very first room of the game where he probably didn't need it. He's doing the pile drivers, and you can see how, you know, his health is full.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big deal to do that when you're, like, getting swarmed. Because you could really get yourself out of a jam. Ah. Not gonna be no damage here. Which sounds like a double negative. And I guess it is, but it's kind of not, because no damage is like a title. Oh, see, but the counter is hard to time. That one guy is trying to do the advanced strats and is having a hard time.
Yeah, this is
whoa,
a
someone
situation.
had 6 no damage rooms? Oh my gosh.
Oh, this might be the run. Oh, well, I think someone...
To earn.
Are they still on the hardest difficulty? Or...
No, they're on the one just above that because...
Well, for the purposes of this race, I'm not going to count the TAS-only one.
No. Yeah, that's true. There's... not gonna be no damage. Well, but there's like it's like a thing. It's called no damage, you know. It's like on Portlandia, where the 6% loan has an 8% interest, and 6% is just like what it's called, but it's got an 8% interest. But anyways, the
Yeah, and like 2% milk isn't just 2% milk. There is way more milk than that.
That's true. It's a conspiracy, clearly. I've seen milk, and I know that it is far more than 2% of that bottle. Yeah, so you get an extra life between each stage. So that means someone started with 2 lives, which means they started on the second to last one that they have access to. Yeah, the really Joel's mom, which is the joke difficulty, is, I think, what the final pro tip that the game gives you. So, which is kind of useless because it's not even meant to be played. So it's just like, and you do it by doing some sequence on the main screen or something to like unlock it. I like how high someone's score is here for still being on stage 2, but I don't like that he died.
I'm pretty sure he didn't like that he died either.
No.
But yeah, but like you don't get bonuses for having more lives. That's just for safety.
Yes, that's true. You do get bonuses for not taking damage. So any room where you lose a life, you're not getting that bonus. Nice.
Yeah,
okay, someone timed that bomb power up really well. So this is a room where doing a pile driver might be good when one guy comes at you and you can land on the whole group of them. Yeah, just like that. Oh, maybe there is. I think maybe at the very end of the game there might be a bonus for having extra lives. Oh man, that was unfortunate. Someone just got destroyed.
No fair. Let's go.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the meta of this will actually change for getting points.
It's true.
Like, will people just try to optimize one of the earlier difficulties, or will they just try to get as far as they can in the hardest difficulty without worrying about optimizing like the no damage rooms?
No damage rooms is pretty big. I think that going for a middle difficulty might be the way to go, at least in this first hour. That's the thing, when you have this long, and then some people are gonna, endurance is a skill. Some people, their endurance is gonna weigh out. They're gonna say, well, this is good enough for me. We'll see what happens in the remaining time, and I don't want to play anymore.
Extra life.
Pile drive.
Go.
Which I think that automatically happens every time you kill that boss, but it is fun to watch.
Yeah, I think she pile drives every boss when you finish them.
Mm-hmm. So, here is the stage that someone is on that has the giant laser that you can counter to get to the secret level.
I wonder if someone just went down to this lower difficulty just to see what this bonus stage will look like.
The fact that you're completing a whole extra stage and the points therein is massive. And you can do this on any difficulty.
Yeah, and speaking of Zenic Reverie takes the top spot.
Not by a whole lot, but by enough.
It might be by a bonus stage. Who knows?
It's true. I don't know if the bonus stage is like... I do think it's still, like, threatening. And you could still, like, die on it. You do have to fight things still. It's not just, like, extra bonus fun points.
Yeah, it's not free, but...
Someone in the chat probably has more info. I never played it. I only found out about the bonus stage afterwards, because I didn't check the pro tips. But then before I planned all this, did the research.
Yeah, I mean, why would you check the pro tips? You're not a pro yet.
Exactly. It's like, well, I don't think I'm supposed to be looking at these.
Yeah, I feel dirty looking at these.
Yeah.
I feel like someone's gonna call me out.
Oh, someone on the mid boss of stage 3.
Yeah, you got Jetpack Jerry
Ooh,
there.
Tried to counter him. Tried to counter that. Oh, there we go. Nice. And got a heart from that.
Yeah, pile driving hearts.
Yeah. Okay, that's the hyper mode. Oh, but died is that's disappointing. Wasting an H is sad. We'll get a heart at the end of this room. I don't think stuff despawns. Maybe it does eventually.
I think it does, because I've seen... Excuse me. I've seen some fruits despawn.
Okay.
So, like, I feel like it's a long timer, though.
Nice. Okay, good pile driver. Someone's really starting to take advantage of that, which seems somewhat necessary on these later difficulties. Because you just get swarmed.
Yeah, the gun doesn't seem to do enough damage to clear out these waves.
As far as these tops, though, I don't think you can... You can counter stance, but I don't think you can pile driver them. Ooh, it's unfortunate, but... I think is going to make it to the boss. I think the boss is in the next room.
Yeah, now it has to figure out exactly where you pile driver the boss. Because I don't know, did the pro tip say?
It said pile drive the giant rainbow laser. It didn't even say the third boss. But it does fire a giant rainbow laser that you normally have to stand off to the... Well, it said counter it. It didn't say pile drive it. But, you get a bunch of X's on the ground when he's going to fire the giant laser. And normally you have to go off to one of those side areas. Ooh. Oh,
Yeah.
Got it. So, and that unlocks, you see now the wall is destroyed. Yep.
Yeah, level X.
But, someone's really gotta... Ah! This is so tense. Oh my gosh.
It's so close.
Why isn't he killing him?
Why isn't he shooting?
No!
No!
I don't understand.
Someone had it.
He wanted to end the level with the laser, maybe, and thought that he needed to do it in order to go. But you don't. You just have to do it once.
I don't know if he noticed the wall breaking. Maybe he just assumed... Yeah, I think he assumed you had to beat it with that laser.
That's so sad. That is smart to think, okay, I have to do this in order to unlock it, but it
I mean, it's a common, like, achievement
Yeah.
thing, where it's just like, kill the boss using this attack.
This is the room I preferred in stage 1. This guy's a little annoying, but I found him pretty easy. Oh, Muware is...
I think Muware is this the bonus
Is
stage
this the
for
bonus
Muware?
stage? I think it might be.
Unless this might actually just be
No.
the final level.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen it very much. Okay, yeah, this is the bonus stage then. Unfortunately low on lives, but pretty high on score.
Yeah, I'm assuming he'll get a life by beating this stage.
Yeah, probably, since you get a life for beating... Oh no, get the heart! Oh no, Muware. Didn't get the heart.
Well,
Did
got
get some hearts in
hearts
this room, yeah.
but I mean, those are hearts you could have saved.
Swap some people out here, I'll put Zenik on. That one guy. Someone is like our mascot, I'll keep...
Yeah, I think if someone can get to that bonus room, I think someone might be able to take Zenek's score.
I think it's only a matter of time. I do not think that we're at the max scores
No,
for the game.
I think we'll crack 500.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It does seem weird, the timing, but it's not so much that you do that and then as soon as you do the input, you start pile driving. It's that you enter a counter stance and then someone who runs into you, you will counter them for a short amount of time while you're in that stance. Zenek is playing on... This is only level 2, I think.
I mean, if Zenek got that score on a lower difficulty, I wonder if Zenek is just trying to optimize the no damage strats.
That's what I think might be happening. Ooh, unfortunately can't do it this room. But did it the last room. I think the one before that, too. Ooh, the big top. I don't like the big top. I don't like Top Man in Mega Man. I don't like Top Man in Mega Man Battle Network. I feel like tops, you gotta focus on the...
Don't like the
got the X! Oh, look at this! Look at this gun!
Jeez.
It's a 1 in 400 chance. We're seeing it here, folks. And there it was.
Yeah, don't like Tops, the trading card company.
Yeah, like they make like baseball cards, right?
Yeah, the baseball cards.
Yeah, screw them. Okay, has power rainbow.
The power line.
And another P right there. Running out of rainbow ammo, though.
Don't like it when people say top of the morning to you.
Top Gear, Top Gun. The game Top Gear is pretty good. Although I prefer Top Gear 2, even though the music is worse because you don't have to do pit stops. And pit stops in a racing game are something I'm not used to, and I never do them at the right time and all. I'm a little confused about how you counter these guys, unless you can move and counter stance. Because there's an X there. But they're static enemies.
I wonder if it's that green attack.
Hmm. Yeah, Top Gear 1 music is really good. It's almost kind of weird. It doesn't sound like SNES music at all. It sounds like Amiga music.
All right, Zenek not doing the counter, the rainbow thing strat.
Maybe he hasn't read them.
Which is very interesting to see how high of a score Zenek's gotten.
I don't think Zenek's on track to beat... Well, we'll see how many bonuses he gets here. Only 2. I don't think he's on track to beat his score. Finishing the game is good, though. Because you get the final bonuses, and I think you get some good score for beating the final boss. And I do think you also get extra points for having extra lives at the end of the game.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye on Zenek's screen to see the score breakdown.
On this difficulty, I don't think he'll have a problem with how many lives he has left beating Santa. Mecha Santa.
Electric Santa.
So let's talk about mecha enemies. Does that always imply the existence of an original that is not mecha? Or could you just have, like, Mecha Frank, and there never was a Frank, but this is Mecha Frank?
I mean, This is some.
It's a good question.
This is a philosophical debate.
It is. It really is. These scythes are annoying because they're really bulky.
I mean, I would assume that, like, it's like if you have, like, the negative version of something, it assumes the positive version exists.
Mm-hmm. But it's
So,
not.
like-
It's not Nega Frank. It's Mecha Frank.
I would assume the same principle applies. So it's like, you have, like, Mecha Superman would be just a metal, like...
Right. So you're
Like, Bizarro
saying that.
Superman only exists because Superman exists.
So you're saying that, like, it would be like, you'd have to call it Frankenstein's robot. It would be the creator, because there wasn't an original. So it's
It would be-
Frankenstein's monster.
It would be Mecha Frankenstein's monster.
That's only if there was an original Frankenstein's monster. I like that idea of Mecha Frankenstein's monster. That's because it's going so many levels.
And then, like, maybe there's an evil version of Mecha Frankenstein's monster.
It's Nega Mecha Frankenstein's
Yes.
monster. Ultra Instinct Nega Mecha
Yeah.
Frankenstein's monster.
Oh yeah, pink, gold, metal, Mega.
Pink Gold is the worst. I can't believe that Pink Gold Peach exists. I think that's so stupid. My favorite crisp. Oh, here's the X again. On a different screen though, so the 1 in 400 still stands. Oh, is he not even? It's not gonna last this long. It'd be cool if he had it, because it does really high DPS. But I don't think it's gonna last this long. Nope, it's gone. Yeah, pink, gold, peach. My favorite thing about Chris Pratt as Mario, what I was saying, is it just said... It's just like the Chris Pratt as Mario, but it just said Metal Chris Pratt as Metal Mario. That just made me laugh. So that thing you can counter, the big rainbow ball. Because
Yeah.
it literally looks identical to when you counter the laser.
That
Someone's
might be
score
the-
is high. And is on stage 3.
Yeah, 0 lives is about to get to the boss.
I think this is the room before the boss, actually.
Yeah, like...
Luckily, the little flames that are left around don't hurt you. That would be really annoying. I'm not so sure about this rainbow strategy, although I guess it seems to be working. Okay, see it? So notice, someone, give him your energy as he channels his own spirit bomb.
I think someone has to have noticed by now that
The wall
thing is
broke,
there.
yeah.
Unless he's gonna wait. He is waiting.
Oh, but
He is-
it's fine.
Oh, but that's like... That's incorrect.
I know,
It's
it is incorrect. We see it
It's in-
sometimes. Oh, Mr. Zimbu, 472. I don't know when that happened.
Probably within the... probably in the Mecha Frankenstein's monster
Yeah, probably.
moment.
Okay, so here we are, stage X.
Like, I really hope it happened during that, and the clip is just Mr. Zimbu takes the lead.
That would be excellent.
But we're gonna see Zenix score. Okay, yeah.
Oh-
So you
oh
do
my
get
gosh.
a bonus. There's a big bonus for lives remaining,
Okay.
because that was 8,000 per life.
Oh, okay. And I'm pretty sure everything is affected by the multiplier. So in later difficulties, that's even going to be more significant. Although it's much harder to have lives remaining in later. So.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this really is a question of how comfortable are you in your skill with the game, because obviously the potential is much higher on harder difficulties, but like...
It takes a lot more skill to not die.
Ooh, he's got X! How long's HyperX gonna last? Yeah! We still haven't seen a Y or a Z, but they do exist.
Yeah.
Get those hearts. Oh my gosh, someone.
Yeah, they're gonna fade.
Okay, so someone pretty much is looking good. The score's looking good. This room looks tough, but things are looking good. Oh, jeez. All these little guys.
Wait, what is Muir doing? What was that?
I think that's like a super secret special attack that you can do once per stage. That is another little secret pro tip, which I did not tell them. But it's like a whole fighting game input. Oh, is that a Z? Oh my gosh, Z was awesome. How did I miss it? Yeah, the goddess attack. You can summon the goddess of explosions once per stage. And it's like a room clear.
Okay, Zanuck going on the hardest difficulty now.
Wow.
Immediately quits to try again because they missed a pile driver.
Why not? I'm mesmerized by someone's gameplay here. Already it has the top score on the board. Oh, here's the goddess of explosions.
Oh.
Welcome.
Oh, it's her mom.
Nice. Good lore. Good lore. Let me pop up my big lore gif. Oh no, it's big points. Stage clear. Oh, Galactic Princess Buster learned. That's when you learn the thing. So Muir did the bonus stage, and that's how he was able to do that.
Oh yeah.
So it's not a pro tip. That's right. You have to learn it. But did not get an extra life. It's unfortunate.
Don't know if someone will probably not finish this, but like I hope Commentator's Curse is also Commentator's Blessing when I say they'll die. So
Yeah. Already has the top score on the board, so things are going well, but
there's
yeah.
the 500,000, so like
just did that room with no damage.
I feel like you still need to beat the stage in order to claim that bonus, though.
You do. It's true. Still, though, I mean, it just goes to show you skill. And he has a lot of ammo. Ammo is something you do have to keep an eye on, but, like, the one thing about this game is that the default shot's, like, not... It's pretty good. Brick is fine. So it's not like you never want to use it. The fact that the ice thrower destroys small projectiles, though, is pretty big.
It's very strong.
Yeah. Rainbow is interesting because you could essentially walk into a room and then just like shoot a bunch indiscriminately, and it could bounce well, but it's a little bit of a risk still.
Oh, lucky heart drop for someone.
And this room starts with 3 hearts. Yeah, the one thing about this game is it's not really unforgiving. Even on the hardest levels, it's like fair. It's just difficult. It gives you a lot of resources.
Ooh, these tops.
I hate the tops. The 4 tops, the 50s like doo-wop band. Send them out of here. All of them.
The 4 tops of destruction.
Yeah, pestilence.
You have the pestilence top, war top, famine top, and the 4th one.
Sometimes I wish that I could draw things. You know, we'll talk about funny stuff, and it's like, man, I'd like to see that, but I can barely draw a stick figure, so. don't know what that says about me. What's it? What's C? Oh, that's the Catalyte.
That's Catalyte, yeah. See, I had a hard time telling that was a scythe.
Thank you for reminding me of Ace Attorney. I gotta play more of it.
Like the little scythe with the Christmas hat, I thought was a woodpecker for the longest time.
I like that it could be a woodpecker. Oh yeah, he did the Goddess of Explosions on the boss. Half the health!
Oh, and Cyro. Oh, look at
Whoa!
Cyro's score.
I'll swap Mooware out for Cyro, but I'm mesmerized by this boss attempt.
Yeah, I need to see this attempt by someone, because someone might take the lead if they beat this.
Oh.
Oh, that's definitely something you can counter, I think.
Yeah, and I think he tried, but he didn't get the timing. Oh, okay.
Understanding the timing, though.
Yeah.
Doing some sick...
Oh!
So close.
And a happy new year indeed.
Someone proud of the score? Someone gonna put... Game, please! Oh, and takes the lead!
Takes the lead, though.
Takes the lead by about 6,000 points.
Could have taken it by a pretty significant amount.
Yeah, that one guy also putting up a 517 now. And we still have an hour. Hello, Freya.
Yeah, that was Freya saying something. I don't know what. Somebody's here or something. Who knows? I never know with her. Let's see. Someone probably has clean audio. And let's try someone. Get it? Because I might have because I was you understand what I was really saying.
It's like because his name is like
Is this the speed that Cyro's game is running? What is happening? Is he playing in slow-mo?
Well, their menu looks fine. I don't. Cyro has enabled hacks. Well, Cyro is just letting the menu play.
I'm gonna swap somebody else in. They must be taking a break, which isn't surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, Cyro probably just got that big score. It's like, all right, I'm taking a break.
Let's see what Mr. Zimbu's up to.
Zimbu, I think, on the last level.
This does look like the last level, doesn't it?
I think playing at an easier difficulty, though.
Yeah, I mean, could be a pretty high difficulty if they've literally lost no lives, but given the score number, I would agree.
Yeah, I think someone has the strategy down.
Oh no, someone does have audio. Oh no. Let's go, Zenek.
Yeah, 4 damageless rooms just got someone a crap ton of points.
What difficulty is this?
This is the War Queen, which is the second hardest.
Got it. Oh, there she is.
Because I think the difficulty most people are doing is either War Queen or Goddess of Explosions. And again, no one's going to even come close to trying really Joel's mom or dad, whichever one.
It's really Joel's mom. I think normally the joke difficulty is really Joel's dad, but because they're all female difficulties, in this. They
Oh,
changed
it's
it
really
to really
Joel's mom. Okay.
I don't know what that joke is. Maybe really Joel's dad was like Todd Rogers and was always bragging about doing stuff that was clearly impossible. that would be my guess. I think this is not the first time we've discussed Todd Rogers on Myscorey. But to be fair, it's somewhat relevant.
Like he's got all the high scores.
Oh, just an insta kill when you pile drive the top. I wonder if that works on all mid bosses.
The good make it better.
All right, let's see if Zimbu can get this boss.
Pile drive's a
Doing pretty
one-hit
well.
kill on anything that isn't a boss. Interesting. Well, that's easily the method to go for those guys then, because they're tanks. Can you pile drive the scythes?
I think it said you can pile drive anything that isn't a boss.
They need to pile drive those scythes too.
Woodpeckers.
Yeah, the woodpeckers. With the H and run. Gold brick. The H has come up quite a bit. I don't think he gave a percentage on how often the H has come up, but it's a lot more than the XYZs.
All right, Zimbu gets a clear. Don't know if it's going to top their previous score. Does not.
No. Cheat codes are not allowed. I'm sure they know that. Oh, somebody actually asked in the chat. Yeah, no cheat codes. Everything else is fair game, but the game does have some built-in cheats. You know, maybe if there was just big head mode, I'd allow it.
Draft mode. All right, well, someone get in the clear.
Games need more goofy cheats. Like, that needs to come back. I think people would be into it. I'd be into it. I'm people.
Well, they have to sell it as DLC.
Yeah, you get the big head mode DLC. Oh, that sucks. It's probably true, though. And then in rooms like this, that Mr. Zimbu's in, it is relevant that you can finish the room without killing everything, which is obviously fewer points than if you had. Oh, one thing I didn't really explain is that when you shoot in a direction, you get locked in to facing that direction until you stop shooting and start shooting again.
Okay, yeah. So it's not like twin stick. It's basically.
Not. I think it. Oh, there's a Y. Have we seen a Y? No. Oh my gosh. Y is pretty awesome. Also nice because when it doesn't last the whole next room, it could still be bouncing around for a while. Yeah, so I think this is somewhat of a, like, inspired by a DOS game called something Carnage. This has a subtitle of Operation Carnage or something like that. But it controls basically the same way that DOS game does. I haven't played Smash TV, but it might control pretty similarly.
What are these? Just like
This is the mini boss.
these chocolate balls.
I do think that in general, you get more points from that mini boss than you would from killing a single guy.
That would make sense.
The point totals were listed in the information that he was looking at earlier. In the grand scheme of things, I don't know if it's a huge deal because of kind of the other places that points come from, but, you know, we like big points around here.
Yeah, someone already hitting 31 600,000.
Oh, Mr. Zimba was playing on the hardest difficulty, but didn't make it through stage 1.
Game is hard.
It is hard. And the death attacks that the desperation attacks that the bosses do are pretty. I can't believe someone's at 4 lives. That means they haven't lost any lives since the beginning, I'm pretty sure.
I think they didn't pick the hardest difficulty.
No, but I think with the one that they picked, I could be wrong. The score is pretty high.
Yeah, no, they have a very good score right now. Oh,
well,
and there's the
there
death.
it is. Well, as soon as we said it.
Well, you said it this time.
Yeah, no, fair. I said, yeah. What do you mean? No, we're in this. You're culpable.
We're a team.
Yeah.
You have to take responsible for things I say.
Accessory to commentator's curse.
That'll be 3 months of Raid Shadow Legends that you have to play.
I've often thought, and I don't know how seriously I've taken the idea, but I have thought about, like, oh, what, when I have a kid one day, that they'll have made a mistake and, oh, you have to play Sokoban for 3 hours or something, Like, it's educational. It's
All right, to the Sokoban mines with you.
Yeah. First person Sokoban and be like, is this even possible? I'm like, I don't know. The developer doesn't even know. Someone can continue to keep their false assumption because they killed the boss with the Not a lot of no damage rooms, but it's still looking pretty good. The score is high.
Yeah, they are killing it. Especially with their lives count. Like, if they can maintain those lives and get to the end, that's going to be a big bonus to their score. Like, they might hit 600,000.
I think so. If they got 598 before without it. Because this is higher than they were here before, I think. I could be wrong. This time is going the other way on the bonus stage. Again, all split paths are always the same number of rooms, and they always reconvene at the same room. But usually it is like 3 rooms that are different. Oh.
Oh, there's another death. And they're not going to get a life back. So, like, this is their lives for the rest of the game.
Is Zenek playing on hardest difficulty?
I want to say yes. Because I don't think he would have continued his game if he was at this life
Oh,
amount.
that's true. That's true.
Especially, like, looking at what his score is.
Well, I think he's going to get the extra life here. I can't imagine not beating the boss at this point, yeah. Looking good.
Awesome. Extra life.
Oh, 3 no damage rooms on the hardest difficulty. Good.
Yeah, this is where I think the fatigue will start setting in. They've been playing for, almost an hour and a half now.
It's true. My goal with picking this game, though, because I knew people would already be familiar with it. I like to do obscure stuff, but I thought if I pick something that's actually maybe fun to play for 2 hours, that we'd have people sticking around. So that was my hope of picking a game that people actually
losing their life pretty much immediately into this stage.
That's unfortunate. Stage 3 gives some pretty difficult patterns, though. Stage 4, okay, is going for the Goddess of Explosion technique. So that means Zenek has also been through the bonus stage. Wow. Someone's score is looking pretty decent.
Yeah, and they're not even through the bonus stage yet.
No. And there's 4 X's over there.
Who gets that
A lot of potential.
timely heart drop? And there's an H.
No big changes on the leaderboard for a little while. But this is a game where, let's see, the shortest one was probably Tetris, where someone could really not spend a whole lot of time, and then you'd see a lot of lead changes. This is a longer one, where you're playing for, 15 to 20 minutes. Probably not the longest. Especially since, in Zoom, they just maxed out the score counter. Zenek playing fast and loose here, but...
Alright, pulling for someone to get this completion. Because they've got 3 lives. I hope they can do it without losing any.
Explain to me what you're talking about, Mew, because we may not know a whole lot about this game either. What is the XES and what does it do?
No, I think Mew saying the X's.
Oh. No, someone knows what the X's do, I think. The game told them.
Yeah, I think just didn't want to in that situation.
Yeah.
Because
Doesn't
he's
do it
done
maybe as
like,
consistently as some people. That one guy's at 517, actually. I didn't notice that. That's pretty significant. That one guy normally has been quite high on the Myscorey leaderboards. Rickery has also in the past been quite high, but I think is not quite... Whoops. Nice job, TPC. It's a fast ban. Fastest ban in the West.
Fastest ban.
Ooh, it's like Toho Boss. It really is like a Toho Boss, actually.
Oh yeah, this is...
I don't think you can pile drive this guy because you can't get up to the...
You could probably damage boost your way to him.
I'm not sure how strong that blocky laser is. I know I've attempted to damage boost through things in more casual races, but it turns out it's like a wall that damages you and not something you can just go through. And I'll just go, and just die right away. That's happened to me more than once.
I mean, how do you know unless you try?
No way, 2 in a row? That means we're popular, guys. We got it. Ooh, the triple ice. Triple ice is interesting. You don't see it a lot. When you get the triple, it affects all of your weapons. So you can switch to any weapon and they're all going to be tripled. There's the
getting that
hyper
H.
bricks. This is looking good.
I wonder if does picking up that S cancel out the hyper then?
I mean, the S is speed. I would think probably not, but maybe.
All right, well, someone at the boss probably looking towards a 600,000 score with a completion.
Already over 6. He was at like 612.
Oh, already? Wow.
Oh, there's that. Always
maintaining the lives.
Because that does about half. The problem with Rainbow is that it's slow. I don't... It's kind of difficult to fight this guy any other way. And someone seems very comfortable bouncing the Rainbow off of various walls. I don't think I would go for it. Well, that's pretty good, though. Doing the kind of breakout strats where you bounce off the back. Speaking of breakout, I'm just now realizing we have not had a breakout game at Myscorey. That needs to happen.
Well, there it is. Someone with the clear. We're going to see a very big score out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That might hit.
That's going to be around 650, I think. Maybe.
Maybe, but got to watch the cutscene.
It's worth it. I don't think 700 plus.
It probably will not be 700.
I guess I don't know how much you get for actually killing Santa. With the
Well, I mean-
bonuses, it wouldn't be that much, but...
Again, this is Mecha Santa,
Oh yeah,
not the real Santa.
and if you do the bonus, you get like a good ending. Like this doesn't happen if you don't do the bonus stage, where he like pile drives the moon, it destroys the galaxy.
Man, have you ever hated Christmas so much that you just destroyed the entire universe?
I don't think so.
There it is. That's 71.
Wow.
714,000.
So I was watching the Crossroad Crisis video before this, and near the end of it, Rickery got 700,000, and you said it was 70,000. I'm not even joking. And then just now, you said the exact same thing with 770. That's so weird. There's something in your brain with 770.
I just don't think significant digits matter.
It's fair enough, yeah. Okay, willing to put the real name. Someone.
That
Doesn't
is
have
going
to
be a
put game, please.
It's going to be a tough score to beat.
I think someone's only thing now is to go Goddess of Explosions. No, don't do Really Joel's mom. Don't do Really Joel's mom.
Someone's doing it.
Don't do Really Joel's mom.
There's
no.
not even like, you don't even get a score multiplier for this.
I like that we saw it. I like that he went for it.
Yeah, 624 was the point total. So
Yeah, wasn't there not even a point multiplier? It was
no,
just like...
there was just a times 1 point multiplier. So it was like not even worth it. It would be even great if it was like a 0.5
Yeah.
multiplier.
Even less. What's nice about this World 1 is that even on this hardest difficulty, no damage rooms are very possible. She has little ears now. I think after having gotten the true ending. Are there actual score leaderboards for this? There must be.
That's
Maybe not.
Good question. Let's find out.
I'm not really seeing anything.
Well, no, I don't like these results that I've gotten. I did not need a hype leaderboard for Fortnite competitive.
The hype factor's off the charts.
It's just not my hype.
So we're gonna
Yeah.
see that the special mecha sleigh, I suppose. I don't really know what the difference between a sled and a sleigh is, but must be something, or else there wouldn't be two different words, right?
One murders, the other one doesn't.
Right. Sleigh is short for Slayer.
Oh no, the sled's the Slayer.
Oh, got it.
You know, Citizen Kane and all.
I think that Well, that was more of an emotional slaying. I think that someone beat the boss with no damage. I don't know if that gives you a bonus. It probably does.
I think it does because I think the boss is technically a room.
Yeah. So having 100k going into stage 2 is strong. But unfortunately, you know, game starts getting a lot harder after stage 1. Oh, Alopex, are you upset that we spoiled you on Citizen Kane? I apologize. Next time I'll make sure not to talk about the, like, 80-year-old movie. Is Citizen Kane a Christmas movie?
I mean, it's got winter, so...
It's somewhat wintry themed at one part.
Any movie with snow is a Christmas movie.
Yeah. I was considering Snow Bros 2 with new elves, which is just kind of a single-screen arcade style, a la like Bubble Bobble. It's a fun game, but it's like, I don't know, it's a lot not as fun as this. And also, it has like a nightmare-inducing character select screen where they use like weird drawn-on pictures. It's like they're like photographs of babies.
Yeah, that's the baby one. Yeah,
and then they like draw makeup on top of them, like clown makeup. The characters don't look like that at all. I don't understand why that's what they use for the character select portrait. Oh, those Santa, the yellow shots go through walls. Makes that a lot. How'd I get that heart? Maybe someone doesn't know what the X's do. Other people were being pretty good on the X's.
Yeah, I thought Snowdozer... Yeah, I see Snowdozer in the chat.
Yeah.
I thought someone did it purposefully before. Like, specifically waited for one enemy to pile drive to get the X.
Yeah, The Shining. Are you saying The Shining's a Christmas movie? Absolutely. The Shining and Misery are both Christmas movies. I think that's clear because there's snow in them. In my area, I know you're like in the Midwest, Ramble, so it probably snows there all the time in December, I would assume. I don't know. In my area, we almost never get snow in December. We don't even get snow every year, but when we do, it's never in December.
Yeah, snow can happen in where I am anytime from August to May.
It has not snowed in August.
Yes, it has.
Really? That's insane.
It usually melts pretty much immediately, but like we've had some like snow in August.
Is it typical to have standing snow at Christmas time?
Sometimes. The past few years we haven't. Like, it's been like very rare that we get like, we had a huge snowfall like a few weeks ago. And like anyone, if you've ever been in Minnesota, people will always tell you, remember that time it snowed on Halloween? Like there was a huge blizzard on Halloween, like I want to say in 91, that like anyone who was like alive that actually had conscious thought will tell you about it.
Someone was able to beat that boss even with the desperation attack. Didn't have a lot of no damage rooms. Honestly, the highest difficulty may not even be the way to go.
Yeah, well, TPC, take your 80 degrees in Texas and like have our 14 degrees here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of 80. I say it should never get over 65, and
Look,
that's Fahrenheit. If you're European, I don't even know. You'll have to figure that out. Sometimes we're pretty good at some things, but when it comes Fahrenheit Celsius, I find that most Americans are pretty...
Look, I just don't like describing the temperature where I am in as a negative, which I have to do with Celsius.
That's true.
But then when it actually becomes negative in Fahrenheit, that's even worse. The worst I've had it was like, I think it was in high school, and it was like negative 30 degrees.
Wow.
It was so cold that the school buses couldn't run because the diesel fuel turned to gel.
That's crazy. The well, in that cold, are people trying to go to school? I mean, isn't it like, you know,
So,
do your best for a little while and we'll reconvene when it gets more reasonable?
well, school districts are always like, well, the roads are plowed, you can get to school. So the day that happened, we did have school. The next day, we didn't have school because though it was warmer, we had a cold day as opposed to a snow day.
Right. In Seattle area, because we're kind of near the water, not exactly the ocean, but kind of analogous to it. It doesn't get very cold or warm here generally. Although it got 114 at my house this last year. We had an insane summer, so I don't know. Maybe that's changing. But in Eastern Washington, it's
Ugh.
more like the Midwest, where it's like more extreme. And but the most extreme it's been, I was at my uncle's house. It was 10 degrees, which was about as cold as I've ever been in. Negative 30 is far from anything I've experienced. That sounds very cold.
And like, this is the thing. It's like, when it gets that cold, it's not necessarily the temperature that gets you. It just depends on how much wind there is. Because, like, I don't know if you know a thing called wind chill.
I do. I know
So,
it's
like,
significant.
It, like, when the temperature's like that low, the wind chill is even worse.
I mean, that's crazy. I feel like you wouldn't even really be able to function outside of your... You'd have to just, like...
You just have to hope.
Yeah.
Speaking of hope, we've got some racers here who are trying to get some points.
I'm convinced after watching this run, not fully convinced, but I'm starting to get convinced that even though someone is very good at this game, I think that hardest difficulty is not the way to go. I think with the no damage bonuses, you can't make up the point differential with the extra multiplier.
I mean, I don't know. This is... We'll see. I don't think someone's going to make it on this attempt. They don't have the HP.
We could go to the bonus level here, which is
I
something.
mean, I don't even think they're going to beat
The boss is in
this.
the next room.
I don't think they're going to beat the boss.
We've
with
never
how
seen the
little
desperation attack from this boss. Well,
Well, we won't.
still won't.
so-
Perfect. I should swap up who's on screen here. See what that one guy's doing.
I mean, still getting 500. I still do it every time. I think I see the 0 in front of the 5, and I just think, oh, it's 50. Still like a 511,000 points total with just that run. I think you're right. I think War Queen is probably the best difficulty to do this.
So, that one guy also has Really Joel's mom on the... So obviously they tried it at some point. Although he may not be playing anymore. Oh, Bungaboo coming in at 304,000. I don't think they were even in it before. I could be wrong. That's one thing about this, though. You can just kind of swap in whenever. Okay, there we go. He's...
Yeah, a few of the competitors are looking like they're done. Yeah, Neitzel is calling it quits.
That's fair.
Yeah, Rickery's calling it.
Which is fair. They're saying it's a good game. I mean, it's true. 2 hours is a long time.
It looks like a very fun game. And at this point, like, you really only like a good run takes about 20 minutes to do.
Yes. Well, and especially if you go to the bonus stage.
So I think like for the most part, pretty much everyone only has about one good run left.
How did that prediction end up going? Where did people fall? Did they think people were gonna choose Gubble or Steam?
Let me take a look. So we had 6 people participating.
Oh, that's it.
3 of them have said Gubble, and 3 of them had said $20 Steam game. However, the payout, it says the percentages is 100% for Gubble and 0% for 20 Steam game, because someone dumped 10K channel points.
Yeah, that was me.
Or actually, not 10K.
That was me. I put 10K on Gubble.
You put... Yeah, I think there's 15K on the line versus 53 points for the other side. So it's either 3 people are getting a very tiny payout or 3 people are getting a massive payout.
Someone found a safe spot in that room where when the sled does its desperation attack, if you're in the far bottom left, it's like the DVD, never bounce it into the corner kind of thing. I'm impressed with the amount of no damage room. Ooh, it's an X!
Look at that damage.
There it is. And leaving with a power. Someone's favorite power is by far the power rainbow, which does seem pretty strong. The power ice is just a little bigger, and I think power brick might just be faster. Power rainbow is pretty different than the normal rainbow shot, though. Catalyte is C. I keep forgetting what C is. C's the option.
Yeah, how can you forget Catalyte?
It is pretty good. That's a pretty good pun. Oh, S. So as soon as he collected S, he canceled it. Oh, someone is getting fast on the on the counter. That's like, I think he's actually getting good at this game.
I mean, our highest point total getter being good at the game,
Yeah.
big surprise.
Well, there's good, and then there's the best in Myscorey. It seems legitimately like he was getting pretty good at the game.
That's just saying, like, the winner of Mystery Tournament isn't necessarily good at games.
Well,
they're just better than the other people who competed.
Yes. For one event with 10 people in it, I think it's more reasonable than Mystery Tournament, who has people who are consistently good still competing every year. But technically, I guess that's true. There could be some god gamer out there who just isn't showing up. But at a certain point, like, we do like warp swap or whatever, and Adam gets 11 minutes, and it's like, I don't know if you could really beat it faster, even if you knew what was happening. So there is...
Like, even if you wrong warped every level.
Nice, smart, waiting on the hyper. Oh, but has to collect the...
I mean, this is someone's only option to do this highest difficulty and
this
hopefully
point,
make it to
yes.
the end.
Clearly probably likes the game, too, because he knows he's in first. The leaderboard is public knowledge. They have leaderboard knowledge. It's nice that he can do this in 2 cycles. The desperation attack is pretty significant, though. It's like a spin around the room kind of thing. Oh, and there's the
Ooh.
3 cycle, unfortunately, because of the death. It's a little bit like that room in Contra 3 where the robot sticks his head through the grate in the background and then you have to, like, run around the room. I guess this, as a boss attack, is, like, a pretty common thing. Oh yeah, but you use ice and it destroys the yellows. No issue at all.
I mean, that's the tactical gameplay.
It's true. You don't really have a whole lot at your disposal. You have the pile drive is kind of the big strat, and then you have 3 weapons, and that's kind of it. It's all execution. I don't think last time someone was here he had 2 lives. I think he only had 1.
Yeah, someone had 1 life and then lost. I want to say lost it before getting to the boss of this section.
Yeah.
Because entered that
Oh,
the
that's an
boss
X.
with like very minimal HP. Another X drop.
Well, the more enemies you kill, the more of those kind of things you would get.
that one guy showing their disdain for the grapple mechanic.
Yeah, when I see TPC commented about Adam's warp swap time. Maurice did it later, got 14 minutes. So Adam just destroyed that game. I don't even really understand it.
Adam Adam is showing why they will probably do very well this mystery tournament.
I know. I'm ready. I'm ready for the Adam's year. Okay, yeah. So power brick is just like higher fire rate. Perfect. That last time had trouble getting that pile drive off on. What'd you call him? Jetpack Johnny?
Jetpack Jerry.
Jetpack Jerry. So
I call him that because there was a previous MT race where I think there was a boss named Jetpack Jerry.
got it. There's the game Jetpack, which I think Adam actually raced and didn't win. DOS game Jetpack, which has a Christmas version, which I also looked
Considered.
I was just looking for everything Christmas that there was, you know, because there's not a whole lot, honestly, when it comes to video games. I'm not going to play Days Before Christmas for score. That would be awful.
I mean, you have Santa Claus 2 and the Santa Claus for the Game Boy games. You also have Santa Claus Jr. and Santa Claus Jr. Advance.
I don't know those ones. I didn't run across those. What are those?
Those are just platformer games, so they're not really score-based, but...
One day I want to have a platformer. It's just kind of difficult to...
It's hard to do score platformers.
I mean, if I just didn't think about it and just did Super Mario World one time, what would happen? It might not be the worst thing in the world. Maybe I should just do it.
Oh, it was
didn't play
Jetpack Joe. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I like Jetpack Jerry. Because they're both J-E's.
Right. Well, they're also both 2 syllables. I think that's why I went with Jetpack Johnny. But either way. Jetpack Jerry. How many more letters could you do? Jetpack Jetty. That's pretty bad, though.
Jetpack Jetty.
Jetpack.
Jetpack Pack Jet.
Yeah.
Okay, someone on this boss now with... Unfortunately lost a few more lives, but I think will actually get the kill here.
Well, we haven't seen the desperation attack.
Oh, that's right.
This is the first time I think
charge.
we've seen anyone on this boss on the hardest difficulty.
I'm guessing a charge. That's my guess.
Oh. Okay. You can counter it, even though you can't pile drive it. Oh my gosh.
Oh, but gets the clear, gets the clear.
Wow.
Oh, Cyro Hydra actually takes the lead.
Whoa! I was not expecting that.
I'm guessing because that's only 40,000 more. I think Cyro probably also did the second hardest difficulty.
This game is running slow. Isn't this just running slow?
It is running slow.
Oh no.
Awesome.
Do we have to disqualify Cyro for having a slow computer?
We might have to. We might have to just also give it to second, because it's been too long to disqualify him after trying for 2 hours. Because this isn't just like stream frame rate.
It's weird because their menu worked fine.
Yeah. Well, I can only ship Gubble to one person, so hopefully they don't pick. They don't both pick Gubble.
It's the Christmas spirit. Everyone gets Gubble. Or would you consider Gubble to be the coal? Everyone who lost gets Gubble.
If we, yeah, send him the Gubble 2 ISO. That's where the Gubble fan club is from. One thing we haven't done is looked up the chart.
Oh yeah. Take a look at that.
See if I can I like reload? Do. There we go. See them all pop in.
Yeah, this is a fun looking chart right now.
Yeah, it's been pretty close. No one has had like, our leader has not had anything like massive. It's just been kind of up, you know, consistently. Cyro Hydra the same way. That one guy not far behind.
Yeah, you can see the steady increase pretty much on everybody here.
Yeah. And then I think some people just haven't played, you know, the whole time.
Oh, that might be it. So there is 2 executables when you download the game.
Yes.
Cyro might be running on the other one.
He asked earlier. I said 7 ran well for me.
Okay,
It might
well,
not make a big difference, but
they might have run the other one. Who knows? I mean, but this always.
oh, someone
Oh, yeah,
back in first.
Yeah, they
Really?
yeah.
They made it through the bonus stage? That's all. I wasn't. I pulled up the chart at the worst time. I'm sorry, everybody.
Well, they haven't submitted their score yet, so.
Maybe I won't have to worry about.
Well, yeah, even with the no damage rooms, yeah, that's gonna put someone in the lead. Yeah,
Wow.
they're gonna hit 800.
Well, I mean, yeah, no lives left on the final stage of the hardest difficulty, but things are looking good. And at this point, there's only 10 minutes left. I'm happy that it came down to the wire so much. Yeah, kind of, Andy. I mean, it's more modern and, like, I would say better paced and stuff than Smash TV is. But essentially, yeah. I'm surprised you haven't heard of it, given your gaming prowess. This is remake of a DOS game. Well, not remake, but it's inspired by a DOS game called something Carnage, which is a lot like Smash TV. Okay, someone is just saying.
Someone's
whatever.
probably assuming they're not going to win, so they're just trying to get as many points as possible.
I think that's smart. Having 0 lives and knowing that the bosses have desperation attacks and barely being able to beat Claws in the first place. Yeah, so this guy, Daniel Raymar, created Princess Remedy and is part of Ludosity nowadays. And there it is.
Yeah, and there it is, yeah, but big score from someone. At this point, I don't think in 10 minutes, especially with how slow Cyro's game is running, that they're going to make it in time.
No, and I hope that they don't, because it's gonna. I would not feel that it was fair, so I would also give it to second place. And
Zenik, I just
cost me
don't
more
think
money.
has the time, and I don't think is on the right difficulty to make up that point differential.
Very good point with the big points.
Yeah, but I assume that's where someone's going to stop.
Maybe he'll try Really Joel's mom again.
Yeah. Maybe pull up some of the other people who might still be playing.
I didn't know Carnage was made by the same team as Smash TV.
Like, who else?
Was Smash TV on DOS too? I only know it as a SNES game.
I feel like, well, Smash TV was on a lot of things. It was on Game Gear. It was
Oh, really?
on Genesis, I think. I think Smash TV was like ported to a bunch of different, because it's also it's an arcade game.
Right. I did know that. I don't think I'd ever seen the arcade.
Yeah, they just ported Smash TV to pretty much everything they could. Was it the right choice? Probably not. But
No way! Someone's destroying Really Joel's mom. Made it through room 1. That's what the TAS does. There's a famous TAS of this difficulty, which is not meant to be actually playable. Oh my gosh. I can't believe he did it. Made it through room 1.
is someone now just going to try to get through as many rooms as possible? I really hope that they dive in again.
I mean, that's just flexing on everyone. I feel like that's good.
Yeah, but at this rate, I don't foresee any of these score results changing. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't. Someone is typing something in the Myscorey chat, so I was just waiting to see what it was. But then it's taking a while to come, so whatever. I did tell Cyro that is. Oh, he posted a spoiler. Secret level too good. It is good. I mean, that's one of the main. Although a lot of people made it to the secret level. It's not like someone's the only person.
yeah, but like that's where you get all those points.
Yeah, secret level on the final difficulty is too good, which I think someone is the only person to have made it there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't think you can get that high of a score total without having done the highest difficulty.
Wow, someone saying I mostly played with controller, but I had to switch to keyboard for counters. What does that mean? So when you're taking one hand off the controller and going and then grabbing it back?
I'm pretty sure it just means he switched just to do complete keyboard controls. I mean, try to have the best of both worlds.
This was a lot of fun. It's a good game.
And it does qualify in the Christmas game category.
I think this is pretty definitively Christmas game.
It is definitively Christmas because it is about Christmas.
Yes.
At least about an aspect of Christmas.
You fight a giant Santa.
I mean, you could fight a Santa. Okay, here's a big question. Can you fight a Santa in a game and have it not be a Christmas game?
Well, in Shinobi 3, you fight Spider-Man and Batman. And it's not a Spider-Man or Batman game. So probably you can put Santa.
That's different. That's different.
Is it? I guess no one holds the licensing to Santa.
Yeah, Santa's public domain.
Maybe. I'm sure there are some variants of Santa that aren't.
Well, yeah, probably like Tim Allen's Santa is probably copyright for some dumb reason.
Yeah, is Die Hard a Christmas game? What, NES Die Hard? Die Hard, we'll say Die Hard Trilogy is, but NES Die Hard isn't. Just to make everybody angry. Speaking of games, oh, I should put that one in. Oh, I know what I'm doing next, Myscorey.
Oh, like the polar bear, like Coca-Cola.
Oh yeah, is there a Santa associated with that?
Maybe.
Well, no, the original. So what I understand it is the red jolly fat Santa that we know is invented by Coca-Cola, at least in part, as sort of an advertising thing.
All right. Also, because this is just wildly off topic, what is your favorite holiday commercial?
Okay, so there's this one. It's the Campbell soup one where he's a snowman and he comes in and he eats the soup and he turns not into a snowman. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, he comes in. Okay.
And
so you're going with wholesome. You're going with wholesome.
Well,
okay.
no, I'm not going with wholesome because there's a guy singing "Let It Snow" and he's like so raspy and like jazz club that it's just funny. I sing it to my wife and be like, "Well, the weather outside is right." She gets mad at me. But it's just funny because his voice is so weird. I think I've exaggerated even further than it actually is in my head, but it. Oh yeah, H.H. Gregg. That's a strong one.
Okay, well, do you remember the Folgers commercial?
Which one?
So, the brother comes home.
Oh,
from...
the like incestuous one.
Yes.
Yes, I do. They're actually I think they made like somebody on YouTube or something made like a parody of it, or maybe it was SNL or something did like a parody of that, just like how weird it is. The there is one where like someone buys their wife a car for Christmas and she goes, "How'd you get a bow that big?" Instead of like thanking for the car.
That's an SNL sketch, yeah.
I think that one might be a real commercial. I don't know, but I remember seeing that and thinking it was actually funny. If that's a real commercial, it's legitimately an actual joke.
But yeah, like I did a full analysis of that commercial, the Folgers one, this morning with my roommate, and it was just like, it's just the way that they bite their lips.
I know, it really is kind of like...
And like, there's a moment where the parents is like, "He's here." It's like, which is said in a way, it's like, we need to stop them before they have like too much of an interaction.
The interesting thing is that they easily could have just made it a boyfriend coming home or a husband. Like
or, made the actress be like 12 as opposed to, being almost the exact same age.
And also to like at home, not having traveled from her own house.
Yeah.
But, clearly with the trauma, it's difficult to move out.
And speaking of trauma, that is 2 hours.
That is 2 hours. Do I ping people at the end? We'll say that I do.
I think they can finish up their current runs. That seems fair.
I don't normally say that.
Well,
because of the 2 hour. I would if it were
Yeah.
shorter. But we have someone is. Let me see if he wants to come into chat so I can figure out which prize he wants.
so he can either deny you Gubble in person.
Yeah. He is. Hello.
Hello.
Congrats.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you were having a good time. I think by the end you were like legitimately good at the game.
Nice.
Good at this game.
I think the one question that a few people in chat were having was like, did you purposely like avoid not pile driving on the X's, or were you just doing that not because you knew? So like, go ahead.
countering is pretty jank anyways, so I'd rather just run away from them.
That's true. You got the countering the mid bosses down though, which obviously makes them way easier.
Yeah.
You got to the bonus level, which again, very good. You aren't the only one. A lot of people got to the bonus level, but I think you are the only person who got to the bonus level on the hardest difficulty.
Nice.
Which is really what sets you over the edge.
Yeah,
Because
Joel's
you
mom
didn't-
difficulty notwithstanding, obviously.
Yeah,
Doesn't
that's a
count.
joke difficulty. There
Honestly, the strong feat of actually getting the first
yeah,
screen.
we were
Yeah, I
excited. That was on
watched,
stream. We were pumped.
I watched the task of the game and got ideas on how to beat that one level.
Oh, okay.
But
Because I was gonna say there is a famous task of really Joel's mom difficulty.
yeah, that's the only thing I remember from that. Not to actually play the game.
Yeah, no, and we didn't expect people would like never have heard of this because it's been pretty popular. But I wanted to pick something more fun than obscure this time around. But yeah, congratulations. Now you have an important choice to make.
Oh boy.
Do you want me to mail you my copy of Gubble, or do you want a $20 or less Steam game?
What system is Gubble on?
PlayStation.
Well, I don't have a PlayStation, so
Oh no, you could get Gubble on Steam. It's only $10.
yeah, I'll do that instead.
Internet Turtle does not want to lose his copy of Gubble.
Well, if he doesn't have a PlayStation, then that's fair not to pick that.
And you can get 2 copies because it's only $10.
Yeah.
Not that you're having multiple copies of a Steam game. But anyway, decide what you want. And you can message me, and I will gift you
All right.
whatever
sounds good.
game. It does not have to be holiday related because there actually aren't that many. Although I do
Yeah.
think Santa Claus in Trouble does have an HD remake. Santa Claus in Trouble HD, and it is on Steam, and it's 60% off right now for only $4. Everyone, go get Santa Claus in Trouble HD. We should do a race of it.
I'm buying it right now. Not actually, but
Sweet. Well, this was a good one. I had a lot of fun watching someone. You were kind of like the mascot. You were on the stream the whole time because you were kind of consistently
Nice.
in the lead, and we wanted to know what was going to happen.
Yeah, Cyro almost sniped it from you at the end.
Yeah, if Cyro had one, I would have given it both to you and him because his game is not running at full speed.
Oh.
So I think he has a little bit of an advantage for reaction time, but also, like, it's just not running well. I don't really understand how it could be running so bad. There were 2 different EXEs for compatibility reasons. Maybe that's why. Maybe certain versions of
just-
Windows.
picked a 7. I don't know why.
I did too. I just figured the newest version would be better, and it's fine. But yeah, you nearly finished on the hardest difficulty. But with the bonus and with the extra multiplier, it was enough to push you over the edge.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and beat the hardest difficulty one day.
Yeah, that's kind of the only thing left for you. But yeah, the bonus level is strong. Oh, it closes. Yeah, Zenek tried to update. It closes 5 minutes after.
Oh, Zenek probably just got in there right after the 5 minutes.
Because right now it said it just said 105 for now. It says 106. Just ready.
Tragedy. Tragedy.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess let's see if we actually have. I can't pull up the thing because I'm not on the dashboard. Well, I guess I could. I could go over to the other scene code.
Oh yeah, I didn't mention, but for the most part, I was using a controller. But just to counter, I used keyboard.
Oh no, I made a terrible mistake. Yeah, I don't understand what you mean. You took your hand off the controller, and then went to the
The arrow keys.
and then grabbed the controller again.
Well, I just had to put one hand off my controller to the keyboard to counter, and it worked out.
Pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I prefer to play games on controller in general. Although TPC was making a very good point in chat that the sequence of button presses is much harder on a D-pad. Arrow keys or something.
Yeah, I didn't try to play this on keyboard because it sounded impossible, since the fire key was like X or something.
Oh, and it's WASD controls.
Oh, I guess you can just use arrow keys to move and then X to fire. That would actually make more sense. Oops.
Okay,
No,
so we have
just add the little extension to your finger, like
Yeah.
there are things that they sold that you put on top of your arrow keys or numpad, and it turned it into like a joystick. It would like clip onto the keys, and you had a little dongle sticking off of the 5 key on the numpad, and you move it around to like press the keys. It's like a little piece of plastic. I don't think it was very good, but they were sold. So that would really be the ultimate win in this game, is the point I was making. We have another match in a mystery tournament match in like 7 hours. So it'll be a while. But thank you so much for stopping by. Congratulations, someone, on winning and becoming my friend on Steam so I can send you a prize.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's an honor. And
the biggest prize is friendship.
Yeah, that's the real prize, is the friends we made along the way. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching Myscorey. It will be I forgot how fun it was, so I'm gonna try and bring it back. We will see when we do it. I mean, maybe it's even more fun for the racers, but I don't know. I don't have the stress of competing, and I just get to watch people get good at video games. That's really fun. So it's super fun for me. But yeah, so watch out for more of this. But that's it for us today. Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you so much, Shrambles, for commentating with me.
Yeah, thanks for hosting another wonderful Myscorey event.
Well, goodbye, everyone.